Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to the Animorphs universe. We're doing another AniLysis today. It's AniLysis number 51 and it is on Marine 1, the President's Helicopter. Primarily found in this book, Book 20, The Discovery, the first David book. Why Marine 1? Well, firstly, what is Marine 1? That is... Marine 1 is a call sign, basically, for the helicopter transporting the President of the United States. You know, what does Americans say? Yeehaw. So that's the helicopter, and it's typically a Sea King, which is what I've got up here. So it's a military helicopter painted in special livery, and it hangs out at the White House and takes the president to places. You know, it's not always the same helicopter, it's just that one with that specific call sign. So that is the President's helicopter. What's it doing in Animorphs? Well, so what's happening in Book 20 is Eric, the bastard Chi, sorry for my language, he deserves it, has told the Animorphs, psst, there's a, come on Lila, if you're coming up, or not, whatever, silly cat, there's a big banquet going on at the Marriott Resort Hotel thing. Are you coming up or what? Or are you just going to pretend like you are? Nope, okay. She'll be up in a second, just you watch. No, maybe not. Frickin', where was I? All the big shots are coming to this Marriott Hotel to have a big meeting, like the G7 or whatever they call it. You know, a big meeting of the big boys. So you got like Japan, Russia, the United States, France. And they've all come to this place to have a bit of a chinwag, you know, as politicians do. And so the Animorphs are going to recce the place. So they're going to go take a look, see what's what, and on the way, this is what happens. We had to know what to look for when we reached the resort. Had to figure out how we could move within the compound, how we were going to reach the various world leaders and spy on them, and protect them. Hey, look, Tobias said. There's a helicopter coming up behind us. Marine Corps helicopter. It's... Whoa. That must be Marine 1. Marine what? Rachel asked. You know, Air Force One. The President's jet? Marine 1 is the President's helicopter, Tobias explained. The helicopter was coming from the direction of the airport, straight toward the compound. A second identical helicopter was a mile back from the first, a decoy. Unless the first chopper was the decoy. So what makes them think it's Marine 1? Because it sort of looks like that. And the only actual description we get of the physical helicopter is this bit here. The helicopter was almost directly above us. From below, it sort of looked like a dark green boat as seen from underwater. Yeah, dark green, like that one. So we can be pretty much certain that what the Animorphs see here is Marine 1 or its decoy. So there's two helicopters, both looking like this. And does the President usually have a decoy Marine 1? Hold on a minute. Ah, here we go. Right, typed into Google. Security measures. As a security measure, Marine 1 often flies in a group of as many as 5 identical helicopters. One helicopter carries the President while the others serve as decoys. Upon takeoff, these helicopters shift in formation to obscure the location of the President. So actually, there's only one decoy. That's actually like really lax security measures, which, I mean, apparently they're going from whatever airport is there a Santa Barbara airport? I'm not looking it up. I'm not spending all freaking episode looking things up. Should have done my research beforehand, Adam. I did, but not enough, obviously. So they travel from a nearby airport to the Marriott Resort. So it's obviously a short flight. So they probably didn't need that many decoys, and obviously they're not going to expect much to go wrong. Then again, if it's going to a meeting of all the biggest world leaders of the time, then there probably would be more decoys. But hey ho, all we know is there is one decoy. So there's two helicopters, one of them's the real one of them's a decoy. Or we can assume that one of them is the real one, and that they're not both decoys, but whatever. Anyway, this helicopter and its decoy are flying towards the Marriott Resort, and then this happens. Then I noticed something else, a blurring in the air above and behind the helicopter, like the air itself was swirling a little. almost like heat waves coming up off hot asphalt. Tobias had noticed it too. "Oh man, we've seen that before." "What's the matter?" David demanded. "Yerk stealth technology," Axe said calmly. "Human eyes would never notice. Human radar won't spot it. But these eyes are very good. And Yerk technology is, well, it's not exactly AniLysis technology." "So what is it?" David cried. "Yerk spacecraft, shielded," I said. "One coming right up behind the president's helicopter. They aren't going to wait for the conference. The Yerks are going after him right now." A long, narrow rectangle began to appear. It appeared in the sky as if it were just floating there. A very narrow, very long rectangle that slowly opened wider. "The blade ship is opening its belly hatch," Axe said. So, he too had decided this must be the blade ship. The hatch widened, opened, revealing the inside of the blade ship. The stealth ship didn't work over the hatch itself. I could see inside. But none of this could be seen by the helicopter. The hatch was in a blind spot above and behind, and the chase helicopter wouldn't see it either. The angle was all wrong. Suddenly, the helicopter's rotors slowed. The engine roar died out. "They have it," Axe yelled. "Force field is on. It killed the engines. They will probably have stunned the humans on board." "The other chopper's going to see that this one has disappeared," Tobias pointed out. "Even humans aren't that blind." But at that moment, as if in response to Tobias's warning, something new appeared. It looked as if it were a halo of light, glowing all around the helicopter, but then it separated slowly, becoming distinct. A second helicopter! It looked as if the real helicopter had shed an outer skin. "A hologram," Axe said grimly. The true helicopter's rotors had come to a stop. The hatch was fully open. Up it rose, up inside the blade ship, and the hologram of the helicopter took its place, flying along, looking exactly like the real thing. So above Marine 1 or the decoy, and I'm doing them both in the same video here, so this is a video for the decoy as well. This helicopter and its clone, one of them is underneath this rectangle that opens up in the sky. So here's the helicopter, and the other one is over here. You can't see that very well. One there, and one of them, the one at the back, the one that isn't getting sucked up, is probably a little higher, and the rectangle for the blade ship must be about here, so that's probably why it can't see that rectangle, which is lucky for the Yerks, honestly, because if it was the opposite, then that helicopter would see that rectangle up there, but it's conveniently like that. Have the Chi been playing? Is this? I'm going to get into another Chi thing here, because let's face it, which is the race that is good with holograms? The Chi. And Axe has said before that the Chi holograms are much better than the Yerk ones. The Yerk ones aren't very good. I'm pretty sure that's the canon. And yet suddenly we're to believe that they managed to stop a helicopter in mid-air and shed over the top a second helicopter as if it was shedding it out of skin and have it flying on. That's incredible holographic holo thing technology. And then of course you get the pillar stuff as well. Are we sure that the Chi aren't in cahoots with the Visser on this one? I mean, we already think they are, because I just go watch the Chi-spiracy video, because Eric basically said to the analysts, go there on this day, and he basically gives them the entirely wrong day, and it's just the Visser there waiting for them, like someone who said they would come in today on the wrong day, and it was only the Chi that was able to do it. So the Chi are playing silly buggers. And are they doing it again? Are they deliberately making it look like this decoy can't see like it's just for whatever reason up here conveniently at the right time for the Yerks to, what we can suppose are the Yerks to do that? I don't know. Chi-spiracy, go watch that video. Anyway, so the rotors are stopped and this helicopter is brought into the underbelly of the blade ship, and it goes into a pit, as it were. And the animals in their bird morphs, yes, pretty sure, are taken up with it. Some of them manage to cling onto the underside of Marine 1 and are taken up into the blade ship. I was beneath the helicopter. So were Jake, Axe, Cassie and David. Rachel and Tobias were stuck outside. Poor Rachel and Tobias. The helicopter sat low to the ground, and since it rested in a sort of shallow depression in the back, we were almost entirely hidden from sight. I could see Hawk-Bajir feet rushing around the helicopter. They carried an unconscious man from the helicopter. Another stroke of luck for the Animorphs, because this thing is massive, and so it wouldn't be flat on the ground. And Lila, please. I told you it should come up. So, a person lying under that, and a whole crew, blade ship crew wandering around, they're going to be seen. So, thankfully for the Animorphs, it fits perfectly into this little dip. they can just about see out, but nothing can see in unless they try really hard. So, stroke of luck for the Animorphs there. But either way, they're underneath this, then they morph to cockroach, I believe, or is it fly? Something small. And, but at the same time they see somebody being dragged off of Marine 1, and they think it might be the president. It's a guy with a gashed shoe. Turns out it isn't the president, but that's what they think at the time. And then, of course, as they're morphing small, the Yerks decide, oh, there might be something under that helicopter, let's lift it up. Now the helicopter was coming off the floor. The Yerks were using a magnetic field to lift it and see what was underneath. Various stuff happens on the blade ship, and then eventually they make their way back to the helicopter to get out, and the guy with the slashed shoe, the unconscious guy, is placed back onto the helicopter. And remember that all the people on the helicopter were stunned in time, because that's apparently something the Yerks can do, and I think this was actually revisited in book 44, so it's consistent. And it's an interesting technology that I'm sure we'll probably revisit in another AniLysis someday. Isn't that right, Lila? And yeah, so the guy is put back onto the helicopter, and the animals start to come up with some suggestions of what's happening. They're putting him back on the helicopter, Axe said. I believe they intend to return the helicopter to its original flight plan, replacing the hologram. They'll reverse the stun effects, and all the humans on board will wake up, remembering nothing. It will be as if nothing happened. I agree, Jake said. The Animorphs eventually end up in the resort and go through a series of shenanigans, seeing more strange hologram stuff that clearly is above Yerk technology. I wonder whose it could be. And then they figure out who this guy with the gashed shoe was, who the Yerks took off, the only guy they took off, this helicopter. Tony, the White House protocol guy, is the man with the slash in his shoe, I told the others as we gathered in the barn. That was the whole purpose behind grabbing the helicopter. It wasn't the president they were after right then. They want a grand slam, David said. They want all these guys at once. So they snagged the second helicopter, the one that always accompanies Marine 1 to throw off possible terrorists. Exactly, I agreed. They needed the chief of protocol, the guy who would decide how the banquet was laid out. So Visser 3 acquired him, replaced him. And if any of that confuses you, then we get a nice little summary at the start of Book 21, The Threat, as to what's basically happened. So let's just summarise it with that quote. The Yerks were going to try to use the conference to infest the leaders of the entire free world. If we let that happen, that was the ball game. Earth was done for. We had to try and stop it. On our way to scope out the Marriott Resort where the meeting was supposed to happen, we saw a stealth-shielded Yerk spacecraft kidnap the president's helicopter. Or maybe it wasn't the actual president's helicopter. It might have been a decoy. Confused yet? Not as confused as we were. The Yerks stunned everyone on the chopper and then used holographic projections to make it look like the helicopter was still flying along. They dragged someone from the helicopter, someone with a gash in the bottom of his shoe. Look, we were cockroaches at the time. The shoe was all we could see. We assumed the Yerks would infest this guy, the president, or whoever it was. But no, Visser 3 merely acquired his DNA so he could morph him. So instead of watching all the video up to this point, you could basically have just read that quote and you'd have the same information. I just, put a few cherries on top here or there, put a bit of glitter on. Nah, I think give you more than that. I throw a bit of speculation out there. I do enjoy it. But that was a pretty good summary of the basics of what has happened regarding Marine 1 here. And it is the most stupid, convoluted plan I think I've ever bloody heard. Unless there's some silly shenanigans going on. So put it this way. There's 2 helicopters. We assume, for this, let's assume that one of them has the president on board. Visser 3's overall aim is to infest the leaders of the free world. So, his plan to do that is to take the chief of protocol, not infest him, but morph him, put the chief of protocol back on the helicopter. I'm already confused. This is already beyond confusion. I think I covered this in my review of books 20 and 21, how stupid this plan is. If you want the leaders of the free world, instead of freezing that helicopter in time to morph the chief of protocol so you can organise the banquet that the president's going to be at in order to infest the president in a secret holographically hidden yerk pool at the Marriott Hotel, why don't you just freeze the president's helicopter, take him off that, and infest him there? What the... What? What's this Bitdefender pop-up? That is just the most convoluted, nonsensical... Put it this way, right? You're a thief, and you're going to a museum, and there's an exhibit in this museum, and they're both next to each other on identical podiums. One of them is a diamond, like the world's most expensive diamond is just sitting there like that. And next to it, on a podium beside it, is the world's greatest diamond box that you put diamonds in. Visser 3 comes in, or you, whoever is the antagonist in this story, comes in, thinks, aha, I'm going to steal this diamond here. What you could do, theoretically, is take the diamond. What Visser 3 does instead is he comes in, says, haha, my evil plan, I shall take this diamond box and then come back later when there's more security to steal that diamond. Just steal the frickin' diamond. What's all this convoluted on? I struggle to think of an analogy that's actually as stupid as what Visser 3 has done here. It only makes sense if the Yerks are playing silly buggers and making a trap for the... They are making a trap for the Andalite bandits, that is established. But the only way that this makes sense is if the Chi are involved. And yes, I know I'm going into Chi-spiracy stuff again, but the only way that the Animorphs are informed and are given the signal to go on this mission is because Eric tells them and gives them the wrong day. So Eric informs them that they're doing this. So it's really convoluted and stupid, and it just makes no sense. It really is a bad stain on the David trilogy. Get rid of this Marriott Hotel business, because it's such a load of rubbish. It does beg the question, though. If the Yerks have the ability to basically freeze aircraft in time and take people out of it willy-nilly, you know, on a whim, why don't they just do it already? When the president is actually flying, because I'm not pretty sure, for whatever reason it doesn't seem like he is on this little convoy, just do that. Just do what you did to Tony and infest him. Do it with all the world leaders. Do it... I don't know, you've clearly got the technology. Clearly got it. Anyway, I'm not here to... I shouldn't be here to rant. I'm not here to do that. Go watch my reviews of the books for that. We're doing an AniLysis on the president's helicopter. And it turns out that they didn't get the president all along, it was Tony. So they would have gotten the president who, late 90s, would have been Bill Clinton. They were probably looking on the wrong aircraft. But if you think that's it for the president's helicopter, it sort of makes a second appearance. And I say sort of because it comes in a dream sequence. It's from book 48. The president was the prize in a serious game of tug of war. Secret Service agents inside the helicopter were trying to pull him in. A Hork-Bajir controller was trying to pull him out. At least 10 Texans writhed and hissed and hungered for blood. Several Hork-Bajir hung onto various parts of the chopper, attempting to prevent it from lifting off. One Hork-Bajir did a chin-up. The chopper blade took his head off. Horrible. The head rolled across the lawn, and 5 of the Texans followed in a frenzy, dizzy with the excitement of fresh meat. The other 5 Texans closed in around the chopper, tore at the Hork-Bajir body. Their weight caused the chopper to dip. The Hork-Bajir with a grip on the president's leg stumbled. I ploughed in like a tackle, broke up the line of Texans, slapped away the Hork-Bajir body, yanked 2 more Hork-Bajir from their grip on the chopper blades. Now the chopper would take off. I heard the blades whir. The wind whiffled my fur as the chopper carrying the president rose over my head. This is a dream sequence, so this didn't actually happen. But it's a case where we see what we can assume to be Marine 1. It's not named as that, but it's the president's helicopter. So, assuming this is how it works in America, any helicopter that is carrying the president at the time automatically becomes Marine 1. The president's helicopter. So, and it was probably something like this again. So, probably another Sea King, so has a bit of a cameo here. It is a bit of a strange one, because apparently this door here, not sure if you can see it that well from the camera, but there's a door here, and I believe that's where the president would come in and come out of. So the president is trying to crawl in there, and apparently there's Texans and Hork-Bajir crawling all over this, and there's one who does a chin up and gets his head locked off by the blades. These are big helicopters, and so you're probably looking at probably about 15 feet at least, I reckon. Maybe, yeah, about around 15 feet. Hork-Bajir are about 7 feet. So the Hork-Bajir is clearly not standing on the ground or standing in the doorway. The Hork-Bajir's got to be like on top. It does say that they're climbing over various parts of the helicopter. But this Hork-Bajir is just standing on top here and then just sort of looks up. Silly bugger. But then again, it's a dream. He might have been standing here, and Rachel's image of this helicopter is just like really tiny, like a really tiny helicopter, because it's a dream, and it's not. We're not giving a description, but that's that. There's not much more we can say about that one. That is the president's helicopter. It's been longer than I thought it would be. That's because I've been rambling a lot. Go watch my Cheesepiracy video. I need to do like a follow-up on that at some point, because there's so much stuff that needs covering in that, and I keep bringing it up. So yeah, maybe I should just delve back into that. But anyway, that's the Lolita Express. That's Marine 1. And now we move on to the next AniLysis, which will be hopefully next Wednesday. And it will be on, drumroll, Hewlett Aldershot III. Do you remember him? Well, we're going to do an AniLysis on him, so you're going to know everything about him by the time that video is published. Okay? Thank you to Horsk for being a member of the channel. You're seeing this one early, hopefully. And yeah, I shall see you all when you all are to be seen by me, which should be this coming Saturday. What am I going to do this Saturday? I think I've got an Annie theory coming up. Whether it will be released on time, I'm not sure. If not, I'll have something else up for you. But yeah, there's definitely an Annie theory coming up very shortly. They're few and far between, but I'll make sure they're good ones. So thank you very much for watching. I shall see you somewhere else in the Animos universe. Ta-ra.